past few months, I have been busy building my very own theme park in Planet Coaster 2. And we now have so many different areas. We've got an ethereal gardens land, a jungle, Vikings, Greek, so many different lands with many different rides, and today we're adding an extra roller coaster to our most recent land, the Chinese themed area. And this coaster is definitely one of the most extreme in the park. Yes, that is right, we are building a Mack extreme spinning coaster, much like the Ride to Happiness, and this one might be even crazier. So be sure to watch till the end to see the full look at the layout, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, because this series is just getting started. And so is the time lapse. Welcome to episode 15. Yes, episode 15. That's crazy. It feels like yesterday was episode 14, but no, it was last week. Welcome back. Today we are building what is probably the most thrilling, insane and crazy ride we have in this park. And I think if it was a normal launch coaster, or multi-launch, sorry, yeah, there are multiple launches on this. If it was a normal launch coaster with a normal train, I think it would still be one of the craziest, but the main reason is because this spins. And it is a pretty ridiculous layout. As you can see, we've already started with an outer bank going into that roll downwards into the first launch. Very much inspired from Ride to Happiness, as you could probably expect, because it's literally one of two Mack Extreme spinners in the world. And starting off after the first launch, we go underneath that pathway there, which is going to lead to another section of this area, which I'll talk about later. And we're going into a weird outer bank thing. We know Mack rides are just ridiculous at the minute and make stupid elements, so I wanted to try and make some new stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen an Immelman like that go into an outer bank, but there probably is one somewhere and I'm an idiot. But either way, you could put loads of different elements on this ride that are known across like loads of different coasters, but it would be the first to be on a spinning roller coaster. So either way, whether that has been done or not, it ain't been done on a spinning coaster. So I'll take it. But as you can see, testing it there went out a little bit too slow and then didn't make it over. I do actually turn the friction down on this coaster, which is a new update. You can actually turn it down per coaster, the friction, not over the entire course of your park, which it was before, which was insane. Obviously, I want to make it to a realistic standing anyway, but I did feel that the layout for some reason felt a little bit slow, so I just wanted to give it some different wheels, you know, make that friction a little bit less. But as you can see, we've just banked round the corner over an airtime hill as well and gone into this very sharp 0G roll. It's more like a corkscrew, really. But yeah, smoothing that over as I go. This coaster gets ridiculous towards the end, I can't lie. I've tried to keep it realistic. As said, there's only one element on it right now that I think might be pushing it a little bit, but I'm happy with it so far, and I had to get that in, me saying I'm happy with it. Of course I did. As you can see, we are now passing by a lot of bamboo. The section towards the back, you can see there's a different section of path, and it's like a sort of gravel, sandy type thing. What I've done is I'm going to be making the Chinese area a lot bigger. I wasn't going to talk about this yet. I was going to leave it for later, but I might as well. We've got like 10-15 minutes to kill. As you can see, going down here, there's like a river. On the back side of this coaster, where that pathway is trying to lead, I guess, there will be a separate section, and it's going to be a sort of bamboo forest area. I know a lot of you guys were suggesting that sort of theme anyway. That's what I'm going to go for, and we're going to build another small family coaster, but not as small as Drakkar was, because that was tiny. I mean, sort of Artemis size, not as long probably, because that was an intimate multi-dimension that could do everything under the sun, but we will be doing another family coaster and maybe a flat ride or two. So if you have any suggestions, I've got 2 things in mind already. If you have any suggestions for like anything more or something different, leave it in the comments below. We still need a name for this ride here. I'm not going to be naming the indoor Dance Macabre style ride yet, and I'm not going to be naming the land yet, because I'm going to save that for another episode, because obviously, if you didn't see my previous video, there's a new update coming out. Woo! We're getting loads of stuff. The water park physics are going to be insane in that update. We're getting like restaurants in April. Never mind, I thought that was in this one. No, we're still got to wait for that one, but we're getting the different water park physics. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build this area, make it a little bit bigger in the next episode, and then finally finish off and go around and name everything in the episode after, so that then, with the updated physics after the 20th of March, we'll be able to build that water park. I can't wait to finally start building a water park. I was going to start it before this Chinese area, actually. I was actually going to build it instead of this and just go and build the water park first and then come back to this. But I got too carried away with the whole Dance Macabre thing. So, and I'm really glad you guys enjoyed that. The response to that was amazing. So thank you so much. It's genuinely one of my favourite things I've built in this game so far. And there'll be more to come, I promise. Including things that are just ridiculous, like this. You've seen that correctly. That is a beyond vertical launch on a Mack Extreme spinning coaster. I don't know where I came up with that idea. I sort of sat there and I was like, I want something to happen midway through this ride that is different to any of the other ones, whether it be the launch. So I was thinking of, like, you might have seen briefly when on the time lapse when I started building the launch going like upwards or something. I was going to do something there. Obviously that didn't go to plan. Turned it around, that would be a nice dark ride section. And then it's going to go into the beyond vertical launch. Obviously it wasn't fast enough at first to actually reach that, but we kept testing it. And eventually it should go over. Nope, didn't make it that time. Is it going to go? But it is actually mental watching it on board because it just looks ridiculous. There you go, got over. But obviously, Voltron Nevera has the beyond vertical launch. That's not a spinning coaster. That is my #1 roller coaster in the world. Ride to Happiness is a Mack Extreme spinning coaster, and it doesn't have that beyond vertical launch, but, you know, it's my #2 in the world. So I thought, if I'm building a Mack Extreme spinner like Ride to Happiness, let me make it have my #1 element I've ever experienced, and on my #1 coaster, Voltron, the beyond vertical launch. I thought it'd be insane. I think going backwards on that section might kill you, but it's called a Mack Extreme spinner for a reason, so I'm going to make it do some extreme things. The inversion I spoke about earlier, why is there just a singular coaster car on the track? Okay, the inversion I spoke about earlier was actually that barrel roll right before you go into that brake run for that beyond vertical launch. It's quite fast. It's a bit like a Mosasaurus roll on Velocicoaster, but just spinning, so it's going to be even more relentless. And I don't know whether I'm going to keep it and might turn it into an outer bank or an overbank, because it does go through it quite fast, and I'll show you that later on. Putting in a vertical loop now, a circular 360-degree loop, because that's what the Mack spinners use, or the one... No, both of them use a loop like that. Gotta respect it, my knowledge is on point. But I'm just sort of working with the heights of the ride, sort of changing them around. That section you can see that I'm smoothing right now, that little like S-curve in the sky, that bit is quite slow. So I do actually end up off camera changing that to be a lot lower down, because yeah, it just had no speed to it, and I don't like no speed. I want all the speed. I will not put up with a slow roller coaster, which is why I'm testing it through so many times. And usually when it comes to layouts, especially with the Jungle Rush layout and even Talos's layout, there's so many different things that you go through, like you delete parts of it. There you go, I'm actually lowering it down in this. There's so many different parts that you go through and you change completely, or you'll rip out loads of different elements and add one. Like with Talos, even after finishing the area, I still went and added another sort of wave turn and helix to add to the length of the ride, because why not? With this, I haven't done that at all. The only bit I nice English. The only bit I might do is that barrel roll I spoke about that is way too fast over the lake, or the pond, river thing, because it does go way too fast. And I'll show you it, and you guys can make your mind up. That inversion's really cool. I like the fact that it stalls there for a little bit, so those on the back will just be looking up at the sky for a second and then just spin towards the ground. That sounded really menacing. But the layout has 2 launches, so we're actually not far off of completing the layout as a whole right now. That outer bank gets replaced because during the ride build process, I did decide to just completely take that out because it went through it again way too fast. So we actually replaced that with an inversion. I think there's... How many inversions is there on this? I think there must be about 6 or 7. That's a lot. I think it is about 6, maybe. That's crazy. I'll count them up. On the top of my head, it's you go through the Immelman right to begin with, then you have the barrel roll over the pathway, followed by the barrel roll that's really fast. Then the beyond vertical launch, then another Immelman type dive loop thing. And then you have the loop, and then this final inversion hits 7. That's 7 inversions on a spinning coaster. That's ridiculous. I think Ride to Happiness has about 5. Okay, well, maybe we've broken the record for that now as well. We've made a record-breaking roller coaster, guys. Call me Merlin. I'm not having budget cuts in this part, though, so it's fine. As you can see, going around the corner into the brake run. And it's quite a long brake run for this because it carries quite a lot of speed. We can get 3 trains on this because of that midpoint of the Beyond Vertical launch. That technically acts as a block section. And yeah, that was really technical for once. There you go, smoothing it out as we go along. And the colour scheme for this ride is a little bit boring. I didn't really know what to do. I thought, you know, we could go for like some really eccentric colour like green or maybe like the yellow, bring that out a bit. But it didn't really blend well. So I went straight for the red and grey supports because I think it does look quite nice. And when we have the entire buildings and everything around that main station area and everything like that, I think it will actually blend in quite nice. But there you go. That's the layout of the ride complete. Doing a little bit of terraforming now around where that river is. Obviously, sort of need to delete the river first because there was way too much water. And at one point, I did flood the map again. So that's fantastic. Yeah, we're just sort of making the terrain look a little bit nicer. Working that through. And then making sure the riders can actually breathe and don't get hit by the floor. So yeah, really happy with this layout. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's too extreme for the park, but I'm the one building it, so no, it's not. I think if a park like this was going to build an extreme spinner, it wouldn't be as extreme as this. But I don't know. I enjoy it. First of all, you can see I went for the yellow supports, and I wasn't a big fan of that because it looked a bit too like of a cluster. And then eventually I turned it grey, and it looked a bit better. Yep, are you gonna, yep, 3 trains, there we go. Oh, block sections updating. Oh, technical stuff going on, guys. I thought I'd show you the whole process of this because a lot slower as well than normal, because usually I'd speed up by like 800 times, but this is sped up a lot less. So you're seeing this a little bit closer to real time, but obviously not. And yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the yellow supports, so I do replace them with grey. And I have actually made a couple custom supports too, so I'll show you them when we head into real time in just a moment. There you go. You see what I mean? The grey, you can see the red track a little bit more. It looks less of a cluster. Let's go look at the cluster. And here we are once again at the front entrance of Isle of Discovery. We're back, and oh, Talos is stuck again. But we are here at the front entrance, and as we walk in, the view is going to look exactly the same. Because obviously you can't see the Chinese themed area from here, and you can't even see the hotel, I found out. Look, if you're walking around here, there's a hotel behind those trees, and you just can't see it. It's a beautiful day. But as we work our way through the jungle area of Amazonia, as you can see with the Jungle Rush coaster behind us, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed that. I loved making that coaster. It might actually be my favourite one in the park so far. We reach this little junction here with the question marks on the sign that are actually the right way up this time, and that takes us down to here, the Chinese themed area. And here we go through here, and there is the main temple in the center and the Mack Extreme Spinner off to the left. Obviously with this area I've wanted to make it very open plan and very like nice to look at, more so than like well themed, if that makes sense. So as you can see, the temple I realized is actually about 100 feet tall, which is crazy. But even when you stand under the coaster and stuff, it's not got amazing theming. It just looks nice amongst all the trees and the plants. Is it going to go? Is it going? I don't think it's going to go. Oh, there it goes. And down the drop. And over the airtime hill. Yeah, I really like how this sort of comes near the pathway as well. And you can see like the outer bank there. Very nice. There will probably be some higher fencing because I don't think this is high enough to restrict a ride area. Yeah, you've got some pathways around. This is the exit for the ride that you'll actually come down. There'll probably be a little building here or something to do with ride photos, but I'm unsure at the moment. And this is the station, obviously completely not touched, like I'm just showing you the coaster and a little bit of the planting and stuff in this video, because in the next one we are going to finish the coaster off and start that little extra area of different rides that I spoke about. For this coaster then, let's look at some of the highlights of it. First of all, I've been doing a few custom supports around, as you can see, this loop, the main sort of area that I've done the custom supports for. Then this support over here for this like inversion, I don't really know what I was going for here as well, but it kind of works and the pathway goes nicely through it there. And as you can see, the ride runs quite nicely through it. There are a few other custom supports here and there, but they're sort of merged into the in-game ones because I don't actually think the in-game supports are that bad anymore. I think they've actually sorted them out quite well. Like you can see clearly that's part of my own support. It's just custom supporting makes it look a lot more realistic, I think. But you've got different sort of like trench areas with these rocks around, and again, it's not too clustered with the theming and the rocks, but it's enough to sort of look at it and go, oh, that looks nice. And there it goes. So if you have any other theming ideas or like a theme for the name and anything like that, then please do let me know. But you can sort of see the plan already. There's going to be some sort of smaller temple for the station building, and then it's going to work its way back here a little bit and encase a bit of this. I'm not too sure whether I want to put this bit indoors or not to make it more of a surprise, but I have been thinking about that, and I think it would be cool to keep that as a section that you don't know about until you ride it. But with that being said, I've spoken about the coaster, and this time I'm not just going to leave you and say we'll POV it once it's fully complete. I'm going to give you a bit of a POV when it's under construction, because I feel like there's so much more to come that there is so much worth waiting for the next episode. And here we go then, out of the station, around the first corner, and already we're starting to spin quite a bit there. This is actually one of the slower portions of the ride, in which we then drop down into that first launch, and off we go up into that outer bank. That's one of my favourite elements as well. I really like that. And spinning over the airtime hill. Yeah, you can barely tell where you're going with the spinning POV, to be fair. Around the corner, through that really quick inversion there. That's not the one I was worried about. I'll show you that because it's coming up. Then we go into a nice overbank. Some twists here. This is the one. Look how quick it goes through this. My God. And then we hit the brake run. Look at that little interaction there. That was so cool. But here we go then. We have stopped right here, and there's going to be a little show scene off to your left and right. And then suddenly, yeah, up the beyond vertical launch backwards. Oh, we got a lag spike there. That is ridiculous. Over an airtime hill. Nice like Immelman that sort of inverts you more at the top rather than airtime like the first one had. And then we go into that lower down little S-curve. Spinning slow slightly. Then we come around into the vertical loop. It's just a relentless ride if you think about it. Even the stall dive loop here. I love that so much. I think that and the first Immelman are my favourite parts. And just the massive airtime hills as well. Goes round again, another inversion, some more airtime hills towards the end, one final turn, and then we hit the brake run. As said, I would have given you a front bumper view as well, but we'll be doing that in the next episode with all of the theming and everything like that. With all of this complete, and you'll see it come together next time. I just wanted to make an episode solely based on making this extreme spinner, because I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to see that. So the next episode, we can focus on finishing this and starting the next few rides round here, which, just to let you know, as I said before, there's going to be a family coaster, which is a lot like one coming to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I'll leave you with that. And there might also be a ride like Toxicator too. Next episode, there's going to be a lot of work done to this area, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that next week. Thank you very much for watching.